I think I've reached a point where I'm too nice with these reviews-ish, whatever you want to call these videos. I feel like I'm too nice when it comes to these movies, and I say too many positive things about them and not enough, negative, possibly nitpicky things in my opinion. But I just really got nothing negative to say in some cases, and this one is a case like that. I just don't have much negative to say about the movie. Daniel Craig's last outing as Bond is successful, in my opinion. I think it's successful. Not all the movies in that saga were like the best Bond movies ever, but I think overall, and especially in this last one, performance does stand out. I think so. The movie starts basically, once again, Bond's peaceful life, I gotta add, is disturbed by previous movie events. Of course, that's to be expected. And it's kind of fucked up, but it's kind of funny. It is kind of funny because this dude really cannot catch a break. I feel kind of bad. I feel a little bad, but at the same time, it's like I don't think it's random. I don't think they just do that so that they have an excuse to bring Bond back. I mean, yes, if you're doing meta commentary, yes, that's just an excuse to bring the character back into it, of course. But I'm talking from a inside universe reason. I just don't think that it's random that his life is thrown into disarray literally at the beginning of most of this saga's movies. I think it's maybe 3 or 4 out of them. I think 3. He's not meant to have a peaceful life. The character of James Bond is not meant to have a peaceful life. But this take on the character, Daniel Craig's take on the character and the whole saga around him is different than previous Bond movies. And I'll get into that a little deeper later, but it's just that he's not meant to have a life of peace. No matter how far he goes, no matter how long it's been, as we see in this movie, it could be a long time. I'm not gonna say anything, but it could be a while. And he will be pulled back into it no matter what he does. And I'm saying this, and I'm putting a lot of emphasis on this because the story puts this fact just on full display. Because even the people that he loves and that he quits the life that he's used to or that he's chosen to be with, even sometimes they're the one that pull him back into it. And it's not always on purpose. It's not actually on purpose in this movie either, but it is what it is. And I think it's interesting, no matter what he does and who he goes for, he will be pulled back into it. But for whatever it's worth though, his misery makes for entertaining cinema. I'll give him that. It's such a sad character, but such an entertaining life. It's kind of funny when you think about it. But I think at this point, if you've seen a Bond movie, and not necessarily one from this saga, but especially so, if you have, you kind of know what to expect when it comes to like action and what type of movie you're gonna see. This one does it all and more, in my opinion, because the advantage that it has over a lot of its predecessors, is what I meant to say, is that it feels final, and that's, well, because it is. A lot of Bond movies just seem like one-offs, but this feels like a culmination of so many other events, and well, it obviously is. It's the 5th movie in a saga, so obviously there's a lot of baggage that comes with this movie, and I think it's worth seeing. You don't have to see the previous ones to understand what's going on. You're going to be missing a lot, but you don't need necessarily to watch them, which I think is nice, because a lot of Bond movies, usually it's not like watch one then the other. It's like you could just kind of watch any. It doesn't really matter where you pick it up. These movies are standalone. This saga with Daniel Craig, I would not say is super standalone. I feel like it is a continuation. You have to watch all of them to get the whole package, the whole story, and I feel like it's more important in this instance than it has been ever before. I cared for these characters for that reason. I did care about these characters way more than any others in previous Bond movies because we had time to get attached to them. Especially Bond. I'm comparing it to a lot of the other Bonds, but that's because this movie's different. This movie's really different from the other Bonds. And in this one, I mean, he's not just a suave spy who gets the baddest girl all the time, which is what you kind of expect out of James Bond. He's just a flawed dude who really can't get away from what he does, which again harpens back to what they're doing, always pulling him back into it. They're really drilling that into your head, and you see it in the movie. He cannot get away from it, and the Daniel Craig saga makes that so obvious. And in my opinion, it kind of makes him a tragic character, which is really weird, because I would never say that about Bond in any other situation, but this movie just kind of really hammers that home, that he is kind of tragic. Honestly, he really is. Getting away from all like the character driven stuff though, The action in itself, like I said earlier, the movie's great. The action in the movie's great, super enjoyable. It has been the entire saga, in my opinion. Anyways, again, some highs and lows, but for the most part, it's been great. I really got nothing else to say. However, there is definitely something to be said about how trash the henchman's aim in this movie is. Maybe I don't remember it being that bad before. These dudes have stormtrooper aim. They couldn't hit the far side of a barn, bro. I don't know what's wrong with these dudes. Granted, one of the commanding bad guys literally only had one eye, but still. Although that's just me nitpicking, because I feel like I have to. Nobody really expects the henchmen to actually get shots off on main characters, realistically. So it's whatever. It actually doesn't really matter. I really don't want to harp on the action too much, because, like, you know what to expect. It's a Bond movie, it's a spy movie. You know what to expect. Big action set pieces. Like, there's a big budget, therefore there's going to be big action set pieces. It just makes sense. I don't feel like there's any point in me kind of delving too deep into it. It's enjoyable, it's good. If you want action, go see the movie. If you want something deeper, go see the movie. I think the action is not something that I need to waste too much time on or spend too much time on. As far as this saga goes, because we know that it's the last one that Daniel Craig's gonna do, without spoiling anything. I'm not spoiling anything by saying that, by the way, but we know it's the last one that he's gonna do. So I hope that going forward, the next Bond movies follow this pattern, right? They don't do the one-offs like they used to do. They do like actual cohesive long-form storytelling, because I feel like it's a more interesting way of telling a James Bond story than they did in the past. I'm not saying that in the past it was bad. I'm just saying I prefer this long-form storytelling compared to the old way that they used to do it. With all that said, I'm gonna give it a final grade of A+, and I feel bad giving it such a high grade, but I enjoyed it, and I think it's personally maybe one of my favorites within that saga. I'm not sure if maybe Skyfall I preferred. I'm not sure. One of them I might have preferred to this one. It's been a while since I saw them, but No Time to Die is definitely up there, and for that reason, I'm giving it an A+.